your thoughts. So welcome, everyone. If you are joining, please say hello on the chat. Okay, 60 people, doing great. Hola, hola, hello. We're starting to have a lot of languages now. Great, feel comfortable.
Now that you requested people to say hello, there they are.
Hello, everyone. Maybe you can share, yeah, of course, from Canada, Philippines, Belgium, Nigeria, great, Kenya, Italy, I guess, Singapore, Indonesia, Botswana. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting nervous. Okay. South India, great. Welcome, everyone. 68 people. Okay, we're going to start this event now. Hello from Turkey, España, hola. Okay, welcome to this Global Youth Forum 2021. This year, virtually, of course. You all know that we don't have any choice, but we are very happy to have you here. Of course, last year we met at Kuchin. We were more than 180 participants from all over the world, from 50 countries. So we were very happy to share. I know a lot of people here connected. We were there last year. Yeah, last year. So you know what I'm speaking about, what I'm talking about. It was a great life-changing event for all of us. So this time we are doing our best to have this sharing virtually. But last year we were hosted by ICA member Ankesa, and even though this year we're going fully virtual, we're not able, of course, to meet in person. We have to see the positive side. Maybe we can connect from more places. Maybe we can share, we can train from our homes. So please see the positive side. And of course, I want to remind you and to mention that this event is organized within the Framework Partnership Agreement on International Development signed between the International Cooperative Alliance, our dear ICA, and the European Commission, of course, on this project called COPs for Debt. So if you are posting anything on social media, you can use the hashtag COPs for Debt, and in collaboration with, of course, the ICA Youth Network of ICA Americas. So this today's event aims at bringing together young entrepreneurs and professionals from all over the world with quality sessions and trainings and sharing so a lot of knowledge. But before I will continue to this explanation, I would like to introduce you to all our distinguished guests. I will mention them. I will mention all of them, and after this, I will mention them by one. So, welcome Marlene Holzner. She is the head of Unit G5 Local Authorities, Civil Society Organization and Foundations of the European Commission. So, hello. Also, hola, Ariel Guarco, the president of the ICA, of course, from Argentina. Hola, bienvenido, presidente. So happy to have you here. And we have also Sebastian Chaillou, president of the Youth Network of the ICA, of course. Coucou. Salut, Sebastian. Then we have Salonie. Hello. We have Salonie. She is a senior coordinator of SEWA, a great organization of ICA and Federation and Global, the SEWA Federation, and she was also Global Youth Forum 2020 trainer and participant. So welcome, Salonie. And last but not least, our dear Georgia, policy coordinator for the Framework Partnership Agreement between the European Commission and the ICA. So we have a very, very special time with them. We will have a great time. They will share with us all their thoughts about youth, cooperatives, entrepreneurship, and a lot of things. So if you agree, we can start with the participation of our guests. First, I would like to invite Marlene Holzner to speak to all of you, and let's get started. So welcome, bienvenidos, bienvenidos to this Global Youth Network. Please, Marlene.
Yes, thank you so much for having invited me and giving me the floor. I have to say that I am very, very happy and also very proud that we have a partnership, ICA and the European Commission. It's a strategic partnership. That means that we don't do on and off projects together, as it is in many cases. The case with the European Commission, who works with civil society. The cooperatives are very special in the sense that this is a partnership that goes over a couple of years, and I hope we will also continue that in the next year, which has started already in 2015. And it's a very special one in the sense that we do not ask, or we did not ask ICA to do a certain amount of concrete projects for us, but we have said, you are so important in the world out there that we would like to have a strategic partnership, and we will help you also financially to achieve your objectives. And this event is part of this. Now, you will ask yourself, why is the European Commission giving ICA or other civil societies money so they do what they would do in any case? Huh? And I have to say, yes, the first kind of vision to this is it's a little bit a sort of very weird animal. And as I said, ICA is not the only one. We have more than 20 civil society where we have strategic partnerships. But why is that? Because we really believe that civil society, as the corporates do, they have a very, very important role to play in the democracy in the partner countries that we have all over the world, because they are an important partner and key for the democracy. And we want to have in all our partner countries a thriving civil society who will help with their recommendations, with their thoughts, the governments in the countries to come up with better ideas, to have recommendations and advice and what to do, what is interest of the citizen. But it's not only just at the partner country level, also ours, ICA is giving us recommendations how to better do the policies that come out of Brussels, what we do with the whole lot of the EU development policy money that we have. And they are very regular in all the consultations we do when we ask civil society, what do you think, where and how should we spend our money? And ICA, the cooperatives, why I'm very proud to have this partnership with them. I have to say, for a number of reasons. I think the cooperatives, they are very special because they do much more than only consulting us. They touch on the very, very important policy objectives that we have. And especially now, for it's now 1 year that we have a new commission president with new priorities, and we have a new commissioner for development policy, Urpilainen. And for her, the top priority of everything, you know, every person talks about priority, but then there's one priority. And the one priority for her is youth. So this is why I'm extremely happy today that I can be present at this event where youth entrepreneurship is really at the core of that, because that is really where our commissioner sees the most need for us to intervene so that young people in our partner countries have a perspective. And that leads me to the second kind of dimension, which is the decent jobs. And I think there the cooperatives, it's an old idea. It is a very simple idea, I think, but it is also a very modern idea and an easy workable model where young people, those who say, I want to start my own kind of enterprise because I don't find a job, I want to be self-employed, and they can learn from the very, very good cooperatives that exist in all the sectors that you might think. So in that regard, I think that the cooperatives, they are willing or not willingly, but they are really at the core what we as the European Commission want to do. And I'm so happy that we have this partnership, and I'm happy that we will also, and I hope we will intensify this partnership, having this FPA, but we have also a colleague of mine who will join you later, who is a new head of unit for youth, and I'm sure she will reach out to you for other kinds of cooperations so that we can just continue this very, very fruitful partnership that we have. With that, I just wish you a very, very good event today, and I'm very happy to listen to you and to learn from you what you all do and did and what you want to do in this field. Over.
Thank you, Marlene. And of course, we are cooperators, so we are happy to hear that you said that you want to intensify the cooperation and the partnership. So we want to keep cooperating, and all these kind of alliances are very important to us and to the ICA, I'm sure. And of course, we are a great option to decent work all around the world. And we are so convinced about what we are doing in our organizations and cooperatives. So thank you very much. And well, our next speaker is Mr. Ariel Guarco, President of the ICA, of the International Cooperative Alliance. For this, I will let you know that he will speak in Spanish, but you have the option on Zoom to click and have the translation to English. So, Mr. Guarco, querido presidente, bienvenido, and el micrófono es suyo, por favor, presidente.
Muy bien. Muy buenas tardes, muy buenas noches, o muy buenos días, depende del lugar donde se encuentren, querida juventud cooperativista de todo el mundo. Quiero saludar muy especialmente a mis compañeros del panel, especialmente a la señora Marlene Holzner, y agradecer todo el trabajo, el acompañamiento que viene haciendo la Comisión Europea a través de este partenariado entre la Alianza Cooperativa Nacional y la Unión Europea. Decirle que para nosotros ha sido estratégico y fundamental este acuerdo que ya lleva unos cuantos años. Escucharla realmente nos llena de optimismo y estamos seguros que podemos seguir trabajando y cooperando en los próximos años. Agradecer que hayan puesto especial atención a este foro de la juventud. Por eso quiero enviar un saludo muy especial a tantos y tantas jóvenes de distintos países que se han unido a este foro para intercambiar ideas en un momento que, como sabemos, es de mucha incertidumbre que estamos viviendo a nivel mundial. Incertidumbre, permítanme decir que es producto de una crisis global a nivel sanitario, pero que sin dudas implicaciones ambientales, sociales y económicas muy serias. Todas las generaciones que habitamos hoy en el mundo estamos frente a ciertas encrucijadas que no van a poder resolverse de un día para otro. Indudablemente que la pandemia puso al descubierto una vez más los graves problemas que tenemos en el manejo de los ecosistemas y la amenaza que representa para los propios seres humanos la gestión irresponsable de los recursos naturales. Pero la pandemia también acentuó las desigualdades dentro de cada una de nuestras sociedades, impactando mucho más sobre los que nos tienen, agrandando las brechas entre los géneros, golpeando de lleno a los pequeños productores del campo y la ciudad, dejando en la calle a millones de trabajadores y trabajadoras, excluyendo de muchas actividades esenciales a quienes todavía no gozan de una conexión a Internet, por solo citar algunos ejemplos. Y también acentuó las desigualdades a nivel global, lo cual puede verificarse claramente en estos días con la distribución de las vacunas. Hace alrededor de un año, cuando el mundo entero se confinaba de manera inesperada, cuando se cerraban las fronteras y comenzábamos a contar diariamente la cantidad de personas infectadas y fallecidas, muchos nos preguntamos a qué oscuro sendero estábamos entrando. Pero por sobre todo nos preguntábamos cómo íbamos a salir. En la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional abrimos un canal de intercambio entre miembros de todo el mundo, donde fuimos recibiendo información de las acciones que estaban llevando adelante las cooperativas para poder seguir al lado de cada una de sus comunidades. Así es como constatamos una vez más que durante las épocas de crisis, las cooperativas son más resilientes que otro tipo de empresas, que mantienen las fuentes de trabajo, que siguen brindando salud, educación y múltiples servicios a sus asociados, que siguen produciendo, que siguen construyendo vivienda, que siguen ofreciendo instrumentos financieros para mantener la producción y el consumo, que se organizan solidariamente para llegar en situaciones de emergencia a quienes más lo necesitan. Debo decir que el esfuerzo que han hecho las cooperativas durante el año 2020 y que siguen haciendo en este momento es digno de reconocer, de poner en valor y de mostrarlo puertas adentro y puertas afuera del movimiento, de nuestro movimiento cooperativo. No solamente afirmar que la cooperación es una herramienta clave para salir mejores de esta crisis en la que estamos inmersos, sino para sentar las bases de un futuro más solidario, más inclusivo y más justo, con las personas y con nuestra madre tierra. Queridos jóvenes, queridos colegas, estoy convencido de que son ustedes quienes deben tomar en sus manos los principios y valores cooperativos y ponerlos en acción, sin que dejen de imprimirle su huella, la huella de los nuevos tiempos que está viviendo el mundo y que ustedes pueden interpretar mejor que nadie. Siempre digo que desde el cooperativismo debemos ser capaces de convocar a los jóvenes para que creen con sus pares sus propias cooperativas o que se integren a las organizaciones que ya existen, con la seguridad de que en ellas pueden formarse y realizarse en términos personales y profesionales, aprendiendo de quienes tienen más experiencia, pero siendo a su vez protagonistas de los cambios necesarios para enfrentar los desafíos del mundo actual. Es la fuerza de la juventud la que le va a permitir a nuestro movimiento cooperativo motorizar los cambios necesarios para que en las próximas décadas se consolide la cooperación como herramienta clave de un desarrollo verdaderamente sostenible. Sabemos que existe una convergencia natural entre esos principios y valores que nos guían, entre esa identidad que ratificamos en la declaración que se aprobó en Manchester en el año 1995 y que hoy estamos profundizando, y las miradas que tienen los jóvenes actualmente. El cuidado del ambiente, la equidad de género, el trabajo colaborativo, el achicamiento de la brecha digital, el fin de la pobreza y otras consignas que los cooperativistas tomamos como propias, llevan hoy inexorablemente el sello de la juventud. Nuestra madre tierra nos está reclamando a gritos que discontinuemos con modos de producción y consumo lineales, basados en lógicas de acumulación que ponen al capital por encima de todo y que conducen inexorablemente a la exclusión social de millones de personas y a la destrucción del ambiente. Y son los jóvenes, con miradas innovadoras y con su de transformación, los que pueden dar un mayor impulso a los modelos cooperativos de producción y de consumo, ya sea en el ámbito de la alimentación, como en el de las industrias tradicionales o en el de las nuevas tecnologías. Son los jóvenes quienes pueden entender mejor la necesidad de adoptar modelos colaborativos y con equidad de género en el ámbito del trabajo, para que procesos tales como la robotización o la digitalización de múltiples aspectos de las economías regionales, nacionales o globales no signifiquen mayor desempleo ni generen más precarización laboral para las nuevas generaciones, tanto en los países desarrollados como en aquellos más postergados. Por eso yo celebro el trabajo que vienen realizando en la Red Mundial de Juventud de la ASI, de la mano de Sebastian y de todos los jóvenes que integran la red. Y celebro también, como decía al inicio, el apoyo de la Unión Europea, que hace posible iniciativas como este espacio tan significativas para nuestra Alianza Cooperativa Internacional. Hace algunas semanas conocimos el último informe de investigación a nivel global producido gracias a este partenariado entre la ASI y la Unión Europea. Realmente un gran trabajo junto a las oficinas regionales y con el apoyo del Cooperative College. Ese trabajo que se tituló precisamente Los jóvenes y las cooperativas, una combinación perfecta, pusieron en palabras y en datos concretos la vinculación estrecha que existe entre las inquietudes y las propuestas de la juventud y la agenda del movimiento cooperativo. La conclusión de esa investigación es que el modelo cooperativo es una alternativa fundamental para que los jóvenes puedan empoderarse y resolver de manera colectiva y solidaria los problemas cruciales que enfrentan sus comunidades. Y esta conclusión, me parece, está íntimamente relacionada con aquel dilema que planteaba al principio, acerca de cómo vamos a salir de esta crisis profundizada por la pandemia, pero que tiene que ver con el tiempo histórico que estamos viviendo. En efecto, creo que vivimos un tiempo donde los cambios son tan vertiginosos que la distancia social y cultural entre las generaciones cada vez se amplía más, en virtud de que esos cambios son tan veloces y tan significativos como nunca antes. Yo los invito a tomar todas las herramientas que estén a su alcance, a aportar todo el conocimiento que ustedes tienen y a ponerlas al servicio de esta consolidación del modelo cooperativo, para que todos podamos ofrecerle al mundo una salida en medio de tanta incertidumbre y tanta desigualdad. Y les pido humildemente que no se mareen con esos cambios que de forma incesante ocurren a nuestro alrededor. En tiempos donde vivimos ansiosos por la notificación que llegará en los próximos segundos a nuestra pantalla móvil, no dejen de mirar a los costados. No dejen de dialogar con sus pares, como lo están haciendo ahora en este foro, a pesar de las distancias. No dejen de aprender de quienes tienen alguna experiencia para contarles. No dejen de leer la historia. No dejen de contemplar la naturaleza que los rodea y que entre todos debemos cuidar. E insisto, no dejemos de mirar a los costados, porque seguramente hay otros jóvenes y no tan jóvenes que necesitan hoy más que nunca de la herramienta cooperativa para salir adelante. Ustedes tienen esa herramienta. Ese es el aporte central que ustedes pueden hacer en el presente y para el futuro. Además de todas las habilidades, conocimientos y herramientas tecnológicas que seguramente pueden aportar a nuestro movimiento como parte de la necesaria formación y capacitación que permanentemente lleven a cabo. A propósito de esto, quiero compartirle una última reflexión. Ustedes saben que la palabra tecnología refiere a la forma en que los seres humanos administramos nuestro conocimiento y nuestras habilidades para producir. Seguro que no hay novedad tecnológica más rotunda que la impulsada por los agentes sociales para transformar su comunidad. No nos asusta hablar de economía de plataformas, de inteligencia artificial o del Internet de las cosas. Lo que sí sabemos es que ningún cambio en la forma de producir o consumir ponga el lucro por delante de las necesidades humanas y del cuidado del ambiente puede llevarnos a buen puerto. Por eso creo que cada vez que se crea una cooperativa, cada vez que un grupo de jóvenes decide emprender su futuro bajo los principios y valores que guían a este modelo económico y social, cada vez que en una escuela o una universidad forman cooperativistas, se está produciendo en esa comunidad una innovación social más grande que la que cualquier máquina o dispositivo puede ofrecer. Yo estoy plenamente convencido que el modelo cooperativo, forjado hace tantas décadas y con tan rica trayectoria en todo el mundo, hoy tiene un enorme potencial para ser ese faro que guía al mundo hacia un desarrollo sostenible, donde quienes hoy habitamos, quienes van a seguir habitando y quienes van a venir a habitar esta casa común en los próximos años, puedan hacerlo dignamente. Quiero agradecerles profundamente que me hayan invitado a compartir la jornada con ustedes. Los felicito por el trabajo que vienen realizando y los invito a seguir trabajando para expandir el modelo cooperativo en cada uno de sus países y a escala global. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Guarco. Muchísimas gracias. And of course, it's a great pleasure to be for me to have Ariel from the Americas. And as he was saying, all the thank you for all the support that you, first of all, Ariel, thank you for all the support that you always give to the youth around the world. And as you mentioned, we have two big situations with the youth. One of them is the youth inside the existing cooperatives, how we work and we participate better and more. And also the entrepreneurship, that is the new cooperatives created by young people. So we have these two scenarios, as you mentioned. And also, Mr. President, you said that after the pandemic, we started and we realized and we remember that we were a very resilient and strong movement. But I would like to add that youth was key to this process in all the organizations. I know you agree. So thank you, Mr. Ariel. I hope you can stay all the opening sessions, but we know that you have a lot of things to do. So thank you for being here. And I was realizing that I never introduced myself. So I will do very quick in case you don't know me. I'm Angélica from Mexico, and I'm the president of the ICA America's Youth Committee and vice president of the Global Youth Network. I also was in Malaysia last year, so I'm here trying to do my best. Of course, I will like to prefer to do it in Spanish, but this time I'm trying to do it the best I can. And I'll also, and before we pass with Sebastian, I would like to thank all the committees and all the networks around the world that are present here, the youth committees and networks, and of course the Asian Pacific Committee, the African Youth Committee, the European Youth, and of course my dear team of the Americas. So thank you for being here, for being connected. And after this short introduction of myself, I would like to present again to our president of the Global Youth Network, Sébastien Chaillou, and it's on you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Angélica, and thanks to everyone, because it's a pleasure to not to see you, unfortunately, to be there and being able to share a moment, to share a few sessions with you, because I was like many of you in the GIFA, little almost 1 year and 1 month ago, and it was like something very important, I think, for us all, for people who were able to join, and for a cooperative movement more general, because like you, just to underline the fact that Marlene, Holzner, you said that you are why the EU funding things that you will have done anyway. I'm not so sure that we will be able to do this, because and it's also a way for me to say thank you to all the people working behind all these kind of events. So of course, inside of the cooperative movement, of course, all the people in the Corps for Dev program and all the founders, because in fact, what you've found, what you contribute to found, it's was the first GIF in Malaysia last year, and the online session we have now, where and is still the first and the unique fully global youth forum dedicated to organize this meeting in between youth and cooperative entrepreneurship. So in fact, it's not it's a big deal to organize and have this kind of opportunity, and it's something very precious. I had the opportunities as first as the coordinator of the European Youth Cooperative Network, and then at the global level to attend to many meetings, to many gathering of the cooperative movement. And honestly, having one fully dedicated to youth was something really, yeah, not me feeling great, it's not so important, but make me confident about the fact that something is happening in our movement, and it's something very great. So that was for a short introduction, and just to deliver you a quite short speech about what Angélica introduced. It's just to say that I was saying, why I was saying this kind of event is precious. It's because I think what cooperative can achieve for youth, it's put youth in a situation to act, to do, to experiment things, and that's very important. And I'm sure that you will find many examples during today and tomorrow session about that. So that's why it's important not only to talk about cooperative to young people, but also to support and connect the youth organization, because there is outside of the cooperative movement a lot of youth organization. You mentioned civil society, and during crisis, the civil society resilience is very important for all our communities, all countries. And the idea is how to strengthen this civil society through the cooperative movement. So it's not just about talk, it's about connecting and giving the opportunity for them to meet the cooperative and to experience the cooperative approach. So support and connecting the youth organization in and out the cooperative movement is something important. Also, what Angélica mentioned, it's having youth dedicated program, not only to because there is the youth entrepreneurship, the fact that young people want to start business in a cooperative way, and it's amazing and something we need to change society, as Ariel mentioned it. But also we have big cooperative, we have institution and in which we need to let's say regenerate and to find a way to find program to recruit, to train new young leader. And I'm sure among the attendee there is plenty of people maybe are just member of cooperative and eager to join, to be the leader, not just of tomorrow, but also to starting to be in position to lead right now. And it's something important. And of course, last but not least, promote the cooperative model amongst youth, to mainstream the idea of you can do business, but in a different way. And that's why when you mention, again, Marlene Holzner, the partnership in between the IC and the European Union, it was in a field of civil society. And I think it's important because sometimes we saw the cooperative have some, of course, it's about business, but it's a business, let's say, human focus. And so if it's focused around the people, it means that it's not just, it's no longer just business. It's also about how do you want to organize yourself, and you jump into also something in between business and civil society. So just to be quick, and then let maybe some, I saw already some question coming. Just to give you an example about the fact what it is important about to have the youth in a leading position, about having youth in a position to take decision in their own businesses, is just I had if you heard me before, I maybe have already the opportunity to say that I came from the student union, so fully civil society organized association, into the cooperative, and I saw this movement as a way to extend the field of action of what I was already committed in the field of the youth and student life. And I think the kind of example we saw is in France, we have just like everywhere a huge crisis, and it's specifically difficult for young people to find a way, because we lost a student in France or in Europe, lost their, let's say, day-to-day job to be able to buy some food, something like that. And I'm still committed in the cooperative movement through a place which is dedicated to support the cooperative entrepreneurship of students. And this place is what we call the third place. It's a kind of working space, kind of cafeteria, kind of a bar. And as you can imagine, all this place is closed due to COVID crisis. But on the other hand, we saw that there is a lot of precarity amongst young people, especially among students. And the fact that we have this place, it's a 500 square meter place in the middle of Paris, with a kitchen, because usually it can be used as a restaurant. The idea was to, because it was, I'm no longer a student, but very some students still then in the cooperative, and also because we were all young people. I think I'm still the older one, so as you can imagine, others are even younger than me and eager to act. And when we saw that we had this place, we had a crisis, and we are in possession of our own business, so we decided to switch all the activities, and they organized the fact that this place is now a place where you can each week have food for free for 2,000 students each week, who can come, grab some things to bring back home, have a oatmeal, have a drink, and it was just, okay, first solidarity pieces, but because it was connected with a lot of other student initiatives, you know have in this place many other resources to connect youth with local solidarity to help them, and especially students, but also open to all youth. And it's just a tiny example of what can happen when youth is in a leadership position. You don't have to ask the authorization to use to change the business model of your place. You just do it because you can. And I think it's something very, very important. And I was very happy to see that this place I'm talking about, I didn't know, is in the front page of the New York Times Business as an example of what can happen what happened in France. Of course, it's not a good publicity for the French government, but too bad for them. At least it's a good publicity for cooperatives, so that this kind of place can try to achieve the goal we face. So just to finish, this tiny example, and you will find pretty other example during this today meeting. It's just to say that sometimes, and especially when you join the ICA event, when you see the speaker, when you see all the communication, we have ICA embodied a movement of 1 billion member, 250 million employees, if I'm correct. And it's a way to just see this as a world movement, almost not a movement, but closer to an institution, something in which it's difficult to say, okay, it's something big, but what is my place in it? What can I do? And sometimes also being seen as something a bit bureaucratic, because, okay, it's a lot of people, you have a lot of companies, it's not so easy to find a place in. And the idea is precisely through this kind of moment, being able to talk youth to youth, to connect people all across the world, to make you feel not just as, okay, I am a little piece of a bigger organization, but also you are an important piece of this, and you can act on your own, and you can use the cooperative as a tool to act on your own. And just to give you Ariel mentioned the fact that, of course, cooperative movement is a kind of institution. And I think it's important to see, if it is an institution, to not see it as a museum, something you need to look through windows. You can touch it. It's just the way it is. But something like more like a library, so something you can go in, pick a book, learn from it, bring it back to your place, and build your own way, and let's say improve your own way of seeing things from what you experience and from what you learn from others. So yeah, this was maybe the conclusion I had. So to jump from the learning to the acting, and because I think right now in the middle of crisis, of course, cooperative provide an example, but an example we need to put in motion. Thank you, everyone. I hope it was clear. And if you have any question, do not hesitate to use the chat. Thanks. And thank you, Angélica.
Thank you, Sebastian, for your participation. And of course, not only being here, but experience this approach that you mentioned among youth and cooperatives, and learn and be active. Please be active, as we did in Malaysia, be participant, etc. And also promote the cooperative model among youth. We hope we can do this during the GIF, but also make you feel as an important part of this movement, as Sebastian said. And please don't feel that you're alone. We are a lot of young people around the world, and we're a very important piece of this work of visibility and people-centered work. So thank you, Sebastian, for being here. And unfortunately, Marlene has to go in a few minutes. So I would like to ask you, Marlene, because we had a question in the chat about how do you see the role of cooperatives in other priorities of the European Commission in international development with youth as a cross-cutting priorities? If you can answer this, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, that they have multiple roles, and that's why I'm so really honestly very happy that we have this partnership, because when we talk about civil society in general, yes, we always underline this important role they have in democracy. And democracy, governance, to push democracy in the world is still one of our priorities. Why? Because we do believe that long-term, not short-term economic progress and growth, other models can also do it, but we truly believe that in long-term, only a thriving democracy can have a society where there is very little inequality, where there's the fair sharing of the growth, where there is social protection, and where all are better off. That's why, you know, we are so strong behind civil society and the democracy, because all benefit, and this is empirically from many studies being confirmed. But secondly, another priority of this European Commission now is that we say decent jobs. We don't want to have our partner countries to have many jobs where people are underpaid, there's no social protection. And we truly believe that the cooperatives with their model, which by the way is a very old model. I have, you know, had when I was a young girl, I had my account in Raiffeisen, which is the German model of a bank cooperatives. So it's a very old model where, you know, this idea of decent jobs, of working together and not exploiting in any sense, that is already embarked in this tradition. And we do believe that today, with this really very clear goal, cooperatives are really helping us to deliver that on decent jobs. Cooperatives you have in all different kinds of areas and sectors. You have women cooperatives. Women is another priority for the European Commission. Then we have the Green Deal. We want to have a sustainable economy that does not harm the planet. And there again, you have so many agricultural cooperatives where they're much better than the bigger enterprises, they protect the environment. We have digitalization, and also in that kind of sphere, I believe that the cooperatives can do their share. So I really see them basically in all the priorities we have to do their share. And that's why I think they are so unique. I mean, at least for me, they're so unique because they really work on all these different streams together with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Marlene, and thank you for being here and for all the support that the European Commission is giving to this movement and to the young people. Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye-bye. Thanks. And also, I will have to say goodbye to Mr. Ariel Guarco because he has he has to go. But thank you again, Mr. Guarco, for being here, and again for all the support that you give to the youth around the world. Last year you were in Malaysia, so thank you for that effort. We hope you have a great day, and thank you for being here. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, our next speaker, it is one of the most important speakers here because she will speak in behalf of all the participants and the trainers of the GIF 20. So Salonie of SEWA Federation, we are very happy to have you here and to share with us. So welcome, and it's your turn.
Thank you. That's quite a build-up, and I hope I come true to what you expect. I'm super happy to be here and also to see some familiar names and lots of new folks. It's always good to see new folks. I do have some slides, but only because I wanted you to see the faces of my sisters and not just my face. I thought that was important, so I do have some slides for you. While they come up, to say that a lot has changed since the last year, since when we last met, would be an understatement. It is such a contrast from being in beautiful Kuching to here at home behind our screens. But as Andre has asked me not to, I will not dwell on that and I will move on. Because while this year has been one of struggle and of loss, it has also been one of resilience, of solidarity, of reflection. And the true spirit and the strength of cooperatives has shown in this time. Around, I think, April and June last year, the SEWA Cooperative Federation did a study. And I'm only giving you the statistic to bring some evidence to the fact that when I say that cooperatives showed resilience. We found that 44% of members in cooperatives, they said they received support from their cooperatives during the pandemic. 71% of these got support with work and income-related needs. I'll ask you when to move on, if you can just stay on the previous one. This is particularly important in our context because SEWA Cooperative Federation works with informal workers, informal women workers who are most at need, often have no work, often have no income. So this was super important. Women, and particularly young women, they showed a renewed interest in becoming part of cooperatives. And now to the slide, why is this important? In India, the numbers, the previous slide, please, Andrea. The numbers are not very pretty. Youth unemployment has been increasing for the past many years, almost at 24% in 2020. And the pandemic was a particularly hard blow as many young people were pushed out of the labor force, and the figure jumped to a 32.5%. The young people lost more jobs at a faster rate than adults, because if you're the last into a job, you're the first out of a job. That's the way it works. Next slide, please. This isn't all. Young women were doing way worse than young men. Female labor force participation in India has always been sort of low, around 25%. But young women's participation is even lower. Just 13% of young women are estimated to have jobs. So all in all, it's not looking very good. The government is trying some various strategies to tackle this. The Startup India scheme is one, which promotes entrepreneurship. But it's a different sort of entrepreneurship. I won't go into that today. The question we want to answer here today is, can cooperatives be part of the solution? And I do believe that the answer is a simple yes. Next slide, please. The first cooperative I want to talk about is Dhana. It's an old cooperative with a lot of young people. This plays to what Ariel was saying, care for the environment. Dhana has an upcycling and a recycling initiative that shows us that young people have the capacity to combine traditional and the new while they care for the earth and all that it gives us. They use social media to market their products, and they try and ensure work and income security, social security, and food security for artisans, young and old. And very importantly, I think Sebastian was mentioning this, it brings women into leadership roles, into governance as decision makers, roles which have been denied to young women, to old women as well, to us for so very long. And this is something that cooperatives bring. Next slide, please. Apart from Dhana, there are examples of fledgling cooperatives, and I think this will answer one of the questions I saw in the chat box from Simran. There are examples in the transport sector, and this is all during the COVID time, right? Please bear that in mind. These all sprung up in the last year. There are women in the transport sector with e-rickshaw drivers who are breaking gender stereotypes. In ecotourism, we have SEWA Atithi that offers tourists homestays, work from mountains, etc. And there are grassroots researchers who are leveraging technologies to gain decent work. These incubating cooperatives, collectives are full of young girls learning that they can use their digital savviness to actually get decent work. For example, we conducted one small training session for them on Canva, which is a very basic graphic design tool. And now they've completely filled their Instagram pages with beautiful images of their homes and have managed to cooperatively earn a pretty good revenue in the last few months. We're supporting these cooperatives to become sustainable and replicate in different parts of the country. I'm sharing these examples because I want to demonstrate the progress that we've made from the last year, despite the challenges that were thrown at us. And I truly believe it's because we are in the cooperative movement, it's because we work cooperatively that we're able to do this. Next slide, please. While these cooperatives are coming up, they're growing, there is a need. They need an enabling environment. And here is where stakeholders like the ICA, through initiatives like the Global Youth Forum, have a role to play. As a trainer and participant last year, it was so encouraging for me to see so many of us energized by the cooperative movement, waiting to participate, eager to learn. And I remember the training rooms were full of people at all times, full of sounds, full of people. People were learning how to make business plans in a room, learning about entrepreneurship in a room, learning about platform cooperatives in a room, how to become sustainable. There were regional sessions with some excellent examples of work being done in Africa and Asia, in Europe, the Americas. And we developed the youth agenda for advocacy. It was a very busy few years we had last year. And yes, these trainings are crucial. These networks are important, but we need more. We need investments from the public and the private sector, because getting that first set of financing is often the most difficult. We need mentoring on various aspects of cooperative management and governance. And these are elements that the Youth Replication Project has tried to bring together for youth cooperatives so that they grow, they scale, and they replicate. If you haven't heard about the Youth Replication Project, I think you may have, but you will definitely hear about it either today or tomorrow. We need more of these. We need more networks like this forum, but also at a national level, and importantly at the local level. Because youth, like women, it's not a homogeneous group. There are local contexts, there are cultures, there are specificities that are crucial to consider when you develop, when you promote cooperativism and youth. The most important part of this puzzle for me is mobilizing. I think there was another question which talks about, how do we get the word out there? Here's an example of our domestic workers cooperative, SEWA Home Care. It's out in the field conducting meetings in local communities, talking about their cooperative, encouraging young women to join. And this cooperative education in organizing efforts is important by cooperatives themselves, but also by other member-based organizations, such as unions, so that more young people learn about cooperatives, start their own, join existing ones, work together in a manner which is non-exploitative, fair, and importantly, sustainable. We need this desperately in the world today. Next slide, please. We at SEWA Cooperative Federation have been doing this work for many years, and there is still a lot to be done. We're a support system, much like the Youth Replication Project has tried to be, for women's cooperatives. And over the years, we've supported over 100 cooperatives in different sectors: agriculture, handicrafts, services, finance, street vendors. And we've reached over 300,000 informal women workers, young and old. We give them support in accessing finance, in training, capacity building, strategizing, linking to markets, of course, policy action. And like the examples I gave before, we're also trying to incubate new collectives in new sectors and exploring the power and potential of platform co-ops. Next slide, please. I shall stop here and leave some more time for questions. I'm always happy to go back to a few things, but I want to stop with a wish that all the young people who are here today, especially women, spend today and the next day learning from one another and finding ideas that, uncovering these ideas and tools, which are not just for our own cooperatives, but also take these learnings back to our countries, back to our neighborhoods, so that other young people who may not have access to this forum here today, their voices are included in the movement. The growth of cooperativism through young people, I truly believe, can be a driver for local, national economic growth and development. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Salonie. You did, of course, great. I'm happy to see you again, but now giving this information and sharing your experience and also your work at SEWA Cooperative Federation. And I'm sure you're one of the 1,000 examples around the world of young people leading this movement. So thank you for being the voice. I just want to remind you that at the end of this, we only have Georgia left to speak. Hello, Georgia. And after her, we will have this question and answer time. So if you want to to make a question, you have to put to raise your hand, to click on the raise your hand icon. And then we will try to pass or mention all the questions as far as we have time. And also I will have to invite you to the show, to the cultural and the cultural show and performances after these opening sessions. So you have to move to Axel Events, but if you do that, you can share with us, and you can be like with all these cultural performances from around the world. So please keep connected. And last but not least, again, Georgia, please, the mic is yours. And we are so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Angélica. Thanks to everyone that is around our online table. Thanks to the previous keynote speakers. Of course, it was an honor for us today to have, of course, Mr. Guarco, but also Mrs. Holzner to open up the GIF20. Very hard to fill the shoes of Salonie, coming like from SEWA, one of our grassroots movements, I would say, within the cooperative movement. So thanks a lot, Salonie, for this very inspireful speech, I would say. From my side, I'm speaking today in front of all of you across the globe. We saw so many countries around the table. On behalf of the International Cooperative Alliance, and of course, on behalf of our global team behind this ICA-EU partnership, the COPS for Dev team. It is a great opportunity for us to be able to host you for the second year, this time online. In 2020, as Sebastian mentioned, some of you had, and Salonie, of course, you had the opportunity to join us in Kuching, in Malaysia, learn from each other, engage in dialogue with some peers, express your concerns, but also your visions. We did the agenda for youth, which was actually our guideline for the whole year to go ahead in terms of policy. And of course, we have prepared also the same for this year, that it will be hosted in one of the lounges as of this evening, I would say. It will be like our wall of expression for youth. It is a pity, of course, we cannot repeat the GIF21 in a physical space. We all miss it, but more than 400 people have been tuned up today in our event. And of course, as the world turns virtual, we have to think the positive side, that we managed through the GIF21 to double our outreach, basically, in terms of capacity building, which is something that all of us, we do need, and all of us, we are willing to keep trying for. We kickstarted today, today's event, full of powerful exchanges and strong trainings in the morning coming from the youth networks, and we will continue after the artistic initiatives that Angélica mentioned already later in the evening, and certainly lots of fun and footage from around the world. The whole event this year is trying to address what matters for youth. We have our 5 E's. I will repeat sort of what the president said, as we have clearly fresh from the press research from our global research network, which is actually employment, education, equality, engagement, and entrepreneurship. As youth of this era, and please, for my own sake, I will take the European approach that, you know, youth is till 35, so you can laugh as much as you want from the rest of the regions. We have all heard that, you know, like it is a pity, or I feel sorry for the next generations, or for us as millennials or Generation Z, Zoomers, how people are calling the next generation, not mine. We have been characterized as lost generations because of the multiple crises we are still going through. All this clearly because we have not given the chance to shake things up for a new economy and a society that addresses inequalities, especially towards youth. And of course, because we have not been given, or sometimes it's not easily to be given, the spaces to co-design our future and being heard. We sort of keep falling into this kind of, how we call it, intergenerational cracks. The new generations for sure want to see a real and meaningful change, and that is clear for us in the ICA, but I think amongst all of you. Civil society and also businesses have a huge role to play on social, economic, political, and environmental issues. And for us, representing cooperators and promoting a socioeconomic model that has proved that age is nothing but a number, I would say, a model that enables collective action with great impact, as Salonie provided through her testimony, towards communities that value people first and the planet, but then, of course, profit. We are part of the economy. We are glad to share existing knowledge and create new knowledge together through dialogue, through these 2 days that we have in front of us. Through these events, we do make, of course, another effort to add a drop not in the ocean, but in a big wave of change, which is all of us, the youth around the world. And I would invite you to speak up your minds, to turn on your energy and your bold spirit these days, and rest assured as well that we will keep trying to support you, learn from you, but also identify together even more spaces where you can raise your voices to shape basically our future. I hope that you have enjoyed the day so far and that you look forward for much more. I would say only keep it up for a great day, for a great rest of the day, but also a great day tomorrow. It will be full of a series of great trainings and dynamic interactions. And I really hope that GIF21 will be as memorable as GIF20. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Georgia. I will dance or sing or do whatever is needed to make it memorable. So I hope you're not sleeping. And the people from Europe and Asia Pacific, because here in the Americas it's 9 a.m. at least in Mexico. So I hope the rest of the people is not sleeping. Thank you for being here. We are 103 participants. So that's, for me, that's a success. And we end up with our speakers, but we have this time for questions and answers. So please be here. We have a lot of questions from a lot of people, to Salonie, to open questions also. But I would like to ask one open question. If anyone among the speakers want to answer, that's okay. And I remind you that you have to raise your hand to ask a question. So the question is, too many young people still have no clue what cooperatives are. How do we make our model more visible and attractive to young people? What will be your best tips for a young entrepreneur trying to start a cooperative? Do you think cooperatives are ready for the next global challenges? And if no, what are the strategic steps needed to be taken by youth cooperators to take responsibility? Okay, that's 3 questions. I know. I rush a bit, but if you can answer the first one, like too many people, young people still have no clue what cooperatives are. How do we make this model more visible? If you can start with this, please. I know. Yeah, I know.
Okay. I don't know if someone want to start on this one. I was thinking about the tips, the second question, but no.
Yeah, but if you if you want to answer the second.
No, honestly, I think one of the main question, if we are looking through, let's say, what kind of lobbying we need, I will say that it's more than trying to push to have the cooperative model more included in schools from the beginning of the education to the end. Each time you talk about business to young people, to child, you must heard about you must have heard about the cooperative way. So I think, in a way, if you are looking in a living perspective, this is the main things we should push on. And if you're looking about what we can do or what the cooperative movement do, it's, I don't know. Ariel is gone, but I think it's more like from the movement as the whole entity to promote the cooperative model, and on our side, it's on us to promote and talk to other people why we choose the cooperative model way. And as it was shared previously, and again, if you're going through the study, many people talk about during the session, you will find many others solution, and also I think you will find also some tips and some ideas in the document we adopt last, and maybe it's what you shared, Georgia, it's what we worked last time during the previous GIF, and there is a session dedicated to this. So I think there is a lobbying part and there is a movement part. And just one word about the tips people asked about to start a co-op. I will say you must use the chance that when you choose to go in a cooperative way, in many countries, and including France, you go through legislative things that people who just start business don't have. So on the one hand, sometimes in some places it could be more complicated. So please use the other way. You choose to do your job in your business in a different way, and this way is more, let's say, more. You will find more care, more bienveillance in French. I'm sorry, I'm at the more. People will have more care, more intention to help you, more goodwill to help you, and you are joining a whole movement. So you will find federation, other cooperatives to able to give you these tips and talk to you and help you. So you are not joining the jungle of the fight for the struggle for life of a normal business. You are joining a cooperative way of doing it. So the tips is talk to people, meet people, and join a real movement.
Can I take a stab at that as well?
Yeah.
Actually want to support what Sebastian said. You know, I don't know about everybody else here, but I never learned about cooperatives when I was in school, in undergrad even. And that's a shame, you know, there's such an opportunity there. The other thing is, boots on the ground. There's no other way. You have to get out there in the field, get your hands dirty, talk to people, meet people, tell them about, if you're in a cooperative, which a lot of you are, tell them about why this works. That's the only way. There's no shortcuts. But to add that there is a role that policy plays. In my country, in India, the cooperative law is such that it's not easy to register a cooperative. It's not easy to come together. And there's a place there for state players to come and facilitate the ease of cooperative registration and incubation and incorporation. So I do want to say that. I think there was one more thing I wanted to say, but now it's just gone. So if it comes back to me, I'll come back.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wants to add something to the tips or the first question? No one? Okay, Georgia.
Maybe just to basically to share the same sort of experience. I mean, my background is in economics, but I studied in a business school, sort of, I would say, like in Greece, where we've never heard about cooperatives. But because I do come from a farmer's family, my area is a very rural area, and my parents have been cooperators since I was born. I mean, I remember this, my parents being cooperators in an agricultural cooperative. I think it is how you get to learn, as Salonie said, like a bit of hands-on. What does it mean, collective action? What it means to share with other people a common idea and a common goal for the benefit of your own community. I will agree, of course, that policy, I work in this field, in any case, that policy plays a great role. But decision-making starts also from the community. I think this is also something very interesting. Of course, we will talk about it tomorrow, I think, during the Youth INTPA COP. We have a similar discussion, but the decision-making approach is an approach that you have at multiple levels. It's not only at policy level or national level that you need to exchange and engage in dialogue with your peers, with the people in your community, with the people in your neighborhood, in order to achieve something together. So I really echo the fact that if you want to learn more about how cooperatives work and what are the benefits of cooperatives, like the only thing that you have to do, of course, like you can Google and read, but it's just to join a cooperative in order to get to know how it really works. And through this, you can create this sort of confidence and empowerment, I would say, to understand the dynamics of the governance around the cooperative model. What brings for you, for the people around you, but also like the impact that it can have like in the economy and the society in your country and in your global community, if I can call it like this. Thanks, Angélica.
Sorry, I remember what I wanted to say. It was
Okay.
answering the second part of the question, which was how do we make cooperatives attractive? I don't think we need to do that. I think cooperatives are attractive. They just looked at, with these, like Sebastian was saying, that you look at it as a museum, you just need to change your lens, because cooperatives are versatile. And, who doesn't want to be an owner of your own enterprise? Who doesn't want to make decisions about your own work? Young people want that more and more, and we know it's a tool to reduce inequality. We know it's a tool to bring decision-making powers to women, to young people, and that's attractive. So it's just a question of changing our lens of looking at cooperatives and not looking at them as these old monsters, but renewing that spirit in them.
Thank you, Salonie. And as we are a big family and a lot of us met in Malaysia, right now someone raised their hand. So it means that he or she will speak, and please turn on your video and your mic. So, okay, who's going to share with us? Hello? Hey, hi, welcome. Can you hear us?
Am I visible now? Am I audible?
Yes.
We can hear
Yes.
you.
Yes, from where I am, it's afternoon, so I'll say good afternoon, good morning, good night to the rest of you guys, wherever you are. I am Lamisalit, I'm in Botswana. One of the biggest challenges that I'd say personally we face down here, especially when it comes to credit unions, is that they are predominantly institutional cooperatives, where it's hard, it's quite difficult to mobilize, especially youth, who most of them unfortunately fall out of the employment wagon. It's quite difficult to mobilize such groups into cooperatives. So just tell her, as an advice, maybe just throwing it to every one of us, because of our different backgrounds and our different experiences, how do we then, as much as the previous speaker was saying, we don't need to make them attractive, they are attractive on their own as they are. How do we then package them to penetrate and make them appealing to the youth, as we are discussing youth today, especially those who are unemployed, and it becomes very difficult to mobilize them because of the diverse places where we operate. It's quite difficult to get them in one place. So you'd ordinarily, in my case where I am, use employers, because they have already been grouped, to sort of tap on when you want membership for cooperatives. So I just want to know how then we can maybe work around this monster that some of us are confronted with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who wants to share or answer this?
Maybe I can give it a try.
Go.
I'll do my best, at least. As far as I understand, Lame, sorry if I don't pronounce well your name. The main problem, the main challenge, let's say, is how to mobilize youth. I think that my first reaction, it would be creating awareness rather than making the model in itself attractive. I think the colleagues before, they just mentioned it is attractive in itself. It's just that people need to know which are the characteristics of this kind of model that is out there. I think everyone has heard, you know, that I would like to be, of course, the boss of myself, and I want like to decide for myself, and I become a millionaire, I don't know, from their garage somewhere as Bill Gates. This is one option, but it's not the only one. The problem is that people don't know, and youth specifically does not know, for example, which are the other options. And this comes only by creating awareness and talking to the people around us. As far as, for example, you are a cooperator or you're not a cooperator and you would like to get involved, this is, I think, what we started offering, I would say, if I can call it like this, through the GIF, like get engaged with people, listen to some inspirational speeches, meet and network with people that all of us, we might never have the possibility and the opportunity to meet with each other and learn from each other. This is, I would say, the first step that I would take. Then, of course, in many countries, of course, the federations, they are some more institutional, and in some other cases, they are much more inclusive or engaging in dialogue with youth. But I think that you can always find a door to knock on. And this is actually our role here today as ICA, as ICA Youth Network, in order to see how we can mobilize these kind of streams of engagement and exchange. I hope I gave a hint.
Thank you. We have another participation. We have Wisdom Niyama. I hope I pronounced it right. If you can turn on your mic, but also your camera, because guys, we want to see you. So please, yeah, Wisdom.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Wisdom Nyama from Zimbabwe, and I have a question which is directed to the EU Commission. My question is based on the issue to do with youth development and youth participation. We discover that the European Union is carrying various projects in different countries, for example, in Zimbabwe, some development projects. So my question was based on how best can the ICA Youth Network facilitate for young cooperators so that they can partner with the other institutions, the other EU institutions, which will be implementing various projects in different countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wisdom. Maybe Georgia or Sebastian again?
I see Sebastian. Ain't for me.
No, I think all those policies question you work more than me on it. So of course I have my opinion, but it's a very tiny part of it. So please. But I will take the one in chat after that if you want, if it's okay, Angélica.
Perfect.
First of all, Wisdom, I would say that tomorrow at 11:30 Central European Time, there will be a session specifically with the units of the European Commission. So they can share with us what are the steps that they are engaging with youth in the different countries around the world. So I invite you also to participate there. Not that I avoid the answer, just to let you know that maybe from there you can get a few more information that might be of further value to you. The second part for your question is indeed the European Commission is having, let's say, their own representation through the different European delegations around the world. That means in different EU partner countries, as they are called, there is an EU delegation that is taking care of the implementation, so programming, meaning projects, around different topics, and of course, around different sectors. What can be done around this is that since the beginning of our cooperation with the European Commission, also we have put in place different capacity building sessions for our federations across the world in order to strengthen the federations to improve, let's say, the policy dialogue and also their programming, let's say, skills towards the delegations. This is something that we have done extensively, and we have already some tools that I'm sure that you can find like in Copedia, some of them. I will make a bit of a shout out like for one of the tools that we have put in place, which actually can be useful. However, I think that we need to keep always in mind that both the regional offices as well as the global office, we are here in order to facilitate the process. So, of course, the monitoring can be done, for example, around programs that the European Commission is funding, and they are focusing on youth. And now that we know who is who, let's say around the table, we can always address towards the people that they are already there. This would be my first answer, not working for the Commission. So.
Yeah, thank you, Georgia. If you want, Sebastian, we can pass to you.
No, it was just to answer a little about, because I saw the question 2 times, and it was also, it's about, okay, people start, there is a lot of people who begin their business in a startup way, so they have an idea or a concept, and then they raise funds in a capitalistic way, and then move on and how to change their mind. Honestly, if someone just wants to do business for having more money and getting rich, the problem is not about the cooperative business, it's about the whole way he or she is seeing the meaning of life. So it's not so easy to change. I think it's possible, but it's a different conversation you need to have. And but what I saw, it's for me, and at least maybe it's a very European perspective, okay, but maybe maybe not so. It's you have also a lot of people who want to do something in the field of development goals. They want to have a better gender balance society. Of they want to act on various topics in a way that doing things better. It could be green economy. It could be okay. So you have many examples, and they want to start it, but then they use the startup classical business canvas and classical capitalistic way to do it. And I think those are the people we need to focus on and say, okay, if you want to ensure that your social purpose will be really the main line, the things you want to achieve, doing it through a cooperatives way is the best, and I would say the only way to ensure that this social purpose will be achieved at the end. And the idea of, okay, if I get rich, if I get wealthy, if my company is successful, I will be able later. No, not so easy. And I don't know how this example will be meaningful for you, but you have an example of the CEO of a huge worldwide company called Dhana, in charge of feeding, who had a purpose. He said, I want to feed people, and I'm no longer a real capitalistic company. I want to be a social purpose company and all of this. And at the end, the people who own the capital of this company said, okay, if you want to do this, this is the doors, get out. And they changed the CEO, because this is the way capitalistic business is running. So I'm not sure if someone just want to do some money for his own. I'm not sure it's the main target we should focus on, but I think we have a lot of energy to put in, convince people who have real social purpose in the field of development goal, in the field of ecological aspect or anything, and convince them, if you really want to tackle this this goal, please do not use a way that at the end you will have to sell a bit of your purpose just to be able to feed your own company.
Thank you, Sebastian. And of course, we are almost ending this opening session. We are running out of time. And before this, Salonie, you were a success, so you have 1,000 questions. So I will only ask you one. That is, how do we mobilize young married women into the COPE movement from peri-urban areas or rural areas in cases where they are not encouraged to mobilize, collectivize, or take up jobs thanks to patriarchy? So,
I mean, so this is a difficult question because the answer is not just cooperatives. You're dealing with a society or a system where norms such as women's mobility are deeply entrenched, or women's role in the household, unpaid work, and the responsibilities are deeply entrenched. So just cooperatives isn't the way. You have to work a couple of things. These women need work because their income is important for the household, so they are looking for work. They're usually easy prey for exploitative, middle agents, landlords, etc. So it's not that they're not looking for work; they are. The second thing probably is that, sorry, I keep losing track of what I was trying to say. I think, it's important to work with men as well. Men need to be sensitized to women's needs, women's roles, women's participation in labor force, because like I said, these incomes are important for households. That being said, like I said, again, cooperatives is not the only answer. There's a large system at play, and it needs sort of a deeper dive into social systems to break this kind of chain. I wish I could answer this better, but it's a long process. It's education, it's sensitization, it's training, it's awareness. It's a lot that goes into solving this, but we have made progress from where we were, say, 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago to where we are now. And we have to be patient and keep doing what we're doing. And at some point, present this model of cooperatives as well. as an alternative, as a freeing and liberating alternative to these women who are seeking these ways of employment and decent work access. So I will say that.
Thank you, Salonie. Of course, a very, very, complex question or answer maybe. Okay, well, thank you. We are just, in a few minutes we will close, but I would like you to remind you that we have the GYF21 show. So you will be able to listen to performances from artists from around the world. It will happen at 4:50 Brussels time. And also tomorrow we are starting early in the morning with a lot of different capacity building sessions. And if you can't attend, all the sessions will be recorded and then you can see it, watch it on the official website. So thank you for being here. I'm so very happy to have a lot of people from the Americas also. I had to say it. And I know there's a lot of questions that are not answered, but maybe if you can, our speakers can write it or something and then share it somewhere maybe on the website. And before we close this opening session, and if you don't want me to dance or do something funny, please, I will ask to the speakers to give us in 2 or 3 minutes just the last words or the ending words that you want to share with us. Maybe we will start with Salonie. If you are ready, Salonie, please.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, going back to last year and Kuching, it was a remarkable time. I met all of you. I met so many other people who, you know, wanted to do something not just there in Kuching, but go back and do something in their countries. And I think that gave me a spirit of hope. And I know this year has been bleak, but I think we've held on to that spirit and we are charged to, you know, take the movement forward. Not just the cooperative movement, but I do believe it's deeply entwined with the labor movement, with the women's movement. And we're all participants in these movements. And we're a great network, you know, you can always reach out to any of us. You can always reach out to your peers. We're always there to support. And I look forward to Global Youth Forum next year as well. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Salonie. We're moving to Georgia.
No, the only thing I will say is that for me, I think something that concludes really well from what the colleagues have said already is that we need to stop speaking to the converted ones, if I can call it like this. We need to open up even more. It is, of course, it is part of my everyday work, but it's part also of our everyday efforts. I would say it should become one of our everyday efforts to speak to people that they really don't believe on cooperatives or they don't know about cooperatives. I think that this is a sort of wave that will give like this kind of push for more people to get to know about the cooperative model, to think of the cooperative model and give it the energy or let's say the light that it can take for a better economy. I will just say that I'm really looking forward also to tomorrow, and there will be many, many things. And I want to just thank you all for being with us today and tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you, Georgia, and our Mr. President of the Global Youth Network, Sebastian.
No, just a word, because I'm not sure I will be able to say things more inspiring than what you already heard from the other panelists. So just 2 things. One, just to support what just Georgia said, and also a way for me to say I'm sorry, but I won't be able to attend tomorrow because I'm spending the whole day in a business school to give a training to engineer and future manager of they hope to be manager of big companies, trying to give a bit of what a bit of a sense of what cooperative could do, and I hope they want to leave their business school and join other clusters. But anyway, so I won't be able to join, but for sure it's something we need to do. And just in one word, the fact that in between this kind of events, the GIF, You have, of course, regionally, nationally, and at a global level, some opportunities, many opportunities to join, to connect to each other. But please, to ensure the fact you miss no information, no training, no opportunity to meet, because we all say how important it is. Do not hesitate to join a network, youth network of the ICA, to register yourself on the newsletter, to follow all the Cops for Deaf Team people of Twitter. Choose your own way to do it, but please stay connected, because it's very, very important. That's all.
Thank you, Sebastian. Well, we are ending this opening session, but please stay connected to the performances on Axel events. You have to switch to Axel events, and later on, please connect to the Meet the Global Youth Network at 6:30 Brussels time. So I was very happy to share with you. I'm Angélica. I'm broadcasting from Mexico, not Mexico City, but somewhere in Mexico. I'm very happy to be at this opening session. And also, I just want to add that social economy and cooperatives maybe are not the only economic and social model, but it's our daily work to make it the number one option to do decent work and to build better societies. So thank you. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias a todos. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Have a great rest of the day.